Hey, welcome everyone. This is Otherside-Wiki Unlocked. We're going to take a deep dive into the ultimate tool for the other side. I know many of you are probably familiar with it. Frosty's is with us, and Frosty's is the creator of Otherside Wiki, and we're really happy to have Frosty's here as a resource. My name is Sean Nana. I'm going to be walking us through an overview just so that we can get a nice overview of what Otherside Wiki is used for. We'll showcase some tools on how you can discover the other side. And there are two main sections that we really want to focus on today, and that's analytics and tools. We got the homie, brother on the blockchain, Jason the Ape, with us, who's going to also be able to contribute, go through some different scenarios, and then we want to make this as interactive as possible. So if you have a question, you can feel free to use the chat on the desktop app. I know there's on the top right hand corner, there's a little chat bubble. You should be able to see the other stage chat. I'll have that open so we can answer any questions. We want to make this as interactive as possible. And then toward the end, we'll also invite anyone that wants to just be able to come up and, discuss it while we're on stage. We're pretty ambitious with what we want to be able to cover in 1 hour. So why don't we just go ahead and get started? But before we do, let's say what's up to Baron Von Hustle, aka Jason the Ape. How you doing, man? You excited for this?
Yo, what's up, guys? Yeah, I'm excited to do a new, utilize a new feature of Discord, create a new opportunity to engage, learn something collectively. Stoked just to hang out with all you guys.
Hell yeah. And then Frosties, how are you? How you feeling today? Your day's almost to an end.
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's a bit late, it's 10 o'clock here. But I'm fine, I'm always wake late awake.
And you're in Austria, right?
Uh, I'm in Austria,
That's awesome.
so English is not my native language, but
I love it,
Well, we
man.
we all speak other side, so that works out.
Yeah. We all speak the other side language, which there is a tool that we'll be able to cover. Yeah, Frosties, I think that's one of the beautiful things about us coming together. Other side happens to be the thing that brings us all together. And here we are with different skill sets, different experiences, where we can share this with a broad group of people, and in this case, we really appreciate you being here to be a resource as we go through this with this other space community. So thank you all, and thanks to the audience for joining us live. Already digging the questions and things that are in the chat. So please continue to do so. Without further ado, let me go ahead and open up the Otherside Wiki website. We're going to wrap up by the top of the hour. So we have about 50 minutes to go through an overview of what Otherside Wiki is used for. Some of the ways you can discover Otherside. This is extremely helpful, especially if you're familiarizing yourself with Otherside and Otherdeeds. And then want to spend a majority of our time in analytics and tools that you can use. To start us off, the Otherside Wiki has been a place where they've curated all this data. They've gathered a wide array of sources so that we have access to the most extensive and up-to-date information about Otherside. So it's been another really great resource for us to use besides going on to some of the official links from Yuga Labs. You could harness these tools to make some really good informed purchasing decisions. And so we'll go through a few different scenarios of that. This front page, though, just gives you a few things at a glance. One of the things I like about this front page is over here on the bottom right-hand corner, you have the latest news. And so we've been recently getting more and more news around around Legends of the Mara. And so we had the vessel nesting, the environment tiers and worker capacity. And then most recently, we have the sediment tiers. That's one thing, like you can just kind of get a quick glance of what the latest news is. And then the latest sales right here, where you'd be able to just see some quick sales. And then some of the highest other side sales that are down here, sorted by all time, 1 month, 7 days. And then over on the top right, you got ETH, Ape, Deed, and Coda. And then I didn't know this until Frosty's hit me up about it, where you can click on Deed at any point in the website, and it'll immediately take you to the Otherdeed browser. So that's really helpful, especially if you start digging deep into the website and you want to get back to the browser. It's much easier to just click on the word Deed or Coda, and then it'll take you to the browser of both of those respectively. With that being said, that's just like the front page, but there's a few different reasons why someone would come to this website. One is to learn about the other side, and start uncovering some of the different elements of other deeds, such as a coda or resources or traits and things like that. And so up here on the top, they separate it by Otherside Metaverse, tools, and analytics. What I will touch on this particular area are just the traits for other deeds, like sediments, environments, resources, and artifacts. Very quickly, if you're wanting to learn a little bit more, especially around the data of sediments, environments, resources, and artifacts, this is a really great way to explore, these particular traits on another deed. So biogenic swamp, for instance, there's only a total of 10,000 of them. And then it even breaks it down with how many tiers. So, if it's a sediment tier 1, there's 4,900 of them versus sediment tier 3, which is extremely rare for biogenic swamp. And so they do, Otherside-Wiki breaks it down with sediments. But particularly, this is one that I really, really enjoy, is environments. If you don't know, environments are separated by category. And as I have been learning about, finding the right other deed for myself, it was really kind of helpful. Like immediately I was just like, oh, I like this environment. I like that environment, just based off of aesthetics. But when I got to see how it fit into each category, it became way more interesting. For instance, one of the environments that one of the categories that I really like are growth. And if you look at growth, that's the environment category, and there are 8 different categories. The number underneath is how many environments there are in that category. Kind of shows that there's 10,000 growth category environments, and then you got 3,754 mystic, about 3,000 jungle, and then the mycelium is 2,358, and then botanical 1,634. So the way that they show up in these environment categories are also organized by essentially the rarity of those environments within the category. And so that's kind of neat to know, especially if you're going through, browsing for another deed and you're going through the environments and you want to get an understanding of rarity within the environment category. That is really helpful. And then the way these environment categories are organized, they are also organized by essentially rarity. So decay has the most. There's the most environments belong to the decay category at 18,987. And then it goes down the list: harsh, spirit, volcanic, mineral, growth, psychedelic, and then chaos is its own environment and category. And there's 111 of those. Really, really great website to be able to showcase that. And then another really one of my favorite things is like if you were to click on environment, and we got a sky environment for OtherSpace FM, you can get way more information about it. A couple things here is, what does it look like? And one of my favorite things to do is actually when you click on one of these, you are able to capture the environment artwork without the background and the sediment, and it's beautiful. So these are really, really nice high resolution PNG files for each tier that you'll be able to find just by clicking on one of these. You don't own the IP rights for your other deeds, by the way, but it is really beautiful artwork. You know, when you click on a particular environment, it does show exclusive resources. And this is really great because as you're kind of evaluating a particular other deed, or you're wondering, like, what are some things I should look for if I am locked in on a particular environment? If it has one of these exclusive resources, that's really good. In the sky environment, element 115 is exclusive to that, as well as nucleoid. And then you'll have the colors separated, so you'll know, like, if it's light pink, it's anema. If it's this orange or like yellowish color, it's ore. And so these exclusive resources show up in each environment, along with some of the data that you'll be able to see here, which it can be really, really helpful. You can see like latest sales, and it's kind of all sorted by time down here at the bottom. So if something sold for a lot, you may see it kind of towards the top. And then listings, right? So if you are kind of browsing by your environment, like there's a quick way to just get a sense of like what the floor might be. And then you'll have these tags here, which are really great to just be able to see, like, do any of them have, like here, 4 different resources in shard and root categories. And then as you continue to just go through it, you can see if there's any other colors that show up as a resource, which would indicate a new resource category. So speaking of resources, these are 4 different categories that you'll be able to find in the other side. Anema seems to be the most rare, right? This is kind of, they call it research, I believe. And these are probably some of the more rare resources that you'll find on Otherdeeds. As you can see, there's not many of them, but they'll have the count on the bottom here. As you go through some other ones, you have ore, which is the second most rare resource that you'll be able to find.
I think Anima and Ore are same rarity. They're both very rare.
Oh, so it's
I think
same
the
rarity.
rarest is even in Ore with Dimensional, which is the rarest resource in Otherside.
Awesome. That's good to know. I thought it was kind of like anema, then ore, then root, then shard. So that's really helpful to know. And then dimension is exclusive to chaos. Is that right?
No, this is to acid.
Oh, to acid.
Yeah,
Nice.
because it's the rarest environment, so it also have the rarest
Resource. Really cool
So
to know.
is the acid land? Did you just say the acid land is the rarest environment? So chaos
No. He
deeds aren't.
said that. Well, he said,
Chaos is for sure more rare, but I can
yeah,
consider from the normal categories.
yeah.
Let's say that.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so like for normal, like in the normal collection, and chaos is just like a
It's on.
superset.
Yeah, it's on its
Chaos
own.
is very special also with his resources and so on. It's his own environment category, let's say it like that.
And what's cool, like I clicked on acid, and you'll be able to see like dimensional is right here under exclusive resources. So Galactica and dimensional are the 2 exclusive resources that you can find on an acid environment. And there's still a big question mark on like, can we actually generate resources? Because there there could be that possibility. You know what I mean? Like we don't know if a barren land with zero resources will always have zero resources. And so to set yourself up with the category an environment and know what resources could be available on there, is also something worth noting. Especially if there's something you're looking to craft or manufacture that would require a particular resource or a particular trait that you want. This might have. And it's also neat to see the top holders for this particular environment. So yeah, just kind of moving us along. Resources, really, really great browser to just kind of go through some of these resources. And even though root and shard, there's way more of them, but there's not as many types. So you'll see at the bottom here, there's 11,147 brimstone. Some of these, they have high quantities. They exist in many other deeds, but there's not as many types. And so you start to familiarize yourself with some of these more rare ones. And if you end up finding something, like if you're looking to snipe a resource, some rare resources, we'll go through some scenarios on how you might be able to do that best. Quickly, I want to just go through artifacts. And this is really interesting as you're kind of exploring the artifact section, because Otherside-Wiki breaks it down into some of these categories, which I don't believe maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but I don't believe in the metadata for an artifact, does it have artifact categories?
It's also not official. It's just
right.
We think how we can categorize them.
Yeah, and I think that's also important to know. It's like, out of all the different artifacts, here are some suggested categories that, Otherside-Wiki and others in the community have kind of deciphered on their own. Because when you go through the Otherdeed collection on OpenSea or Blur or just any marketplace, it'll just kind of tell you the name of the artifact, but we don't know like too much about it. When you go to unique, these are unique artifacts. These are one-of-one artifacts. And by the way, like many of these are owned by nobody.eth. Is that right? I think 7 out of 9. 7 out of 9 of these are owned by nobody.eth. So, we need some DAOs or some other buyers to help like diversify the ownership of these one-of-ones. Yeah, we need to figure that out. No, or if nobody is here, let's partner up. And then you have creatures, and it shows a lot of the different creatures or pets that also show up. 5 of them show up in the first Otherside Odiac that you can find in Legends of the Mara website. So these are really fun and interesting. There's 90 of them each. And they definitely have like a different artwork style to it. We can go on for days on, speculating down each one of these things, including tools and what they can be used for. But, you get to see the tools, celestial. So there's a celestial egg, heart, orb, tear, an orb. There's 4 different orbs in here, and then obelisk pieces, green, red, and yellow. Right here, just a really quick way you can, go to Otherside Metaverse and then traits, and then really just go down the rabbit hole, go explore, get a better understanding of how they show up. Once you start clicking on a certain deed, you just kind of are able to learn a little bit more about this so that you can understand like what you're working with, or if what you're searching for is a really good deal or not. And just help you evaluate your deed. Jason, Frosties, before I move on to the analytics, I want to get to analytics and then, again, spend most of the time on tools, but quickly go over some analytics. Anything you wanted to add?
No, man, not particularly. I'm enjoying the ride.
So
Okay.
one interesting thing when you click on a resource, for example, Coralia,
Yeah.
dimensional, to some.
Let's do dimensional.
Then we also have here the top holders, but with some additional information, with tier, count, and plots, which basically mean tier is always have resource tiers. That's calculated everything together. Count means you have it like
How
2
many?
times in east, west, south, north, and plots means you have other deeds, 20 other deeds.
Wow.
So an example of Yuga Labs.
So Yuga Labs, they have 20 other deeds, and on some of at least one of their other deeds, they have 2 dimensionals on a single deed. That's crazy. And then when you add up all the tiers, right?
It's 35.
Yeah, and this is sediment tier?
No, this is resource tier.
Oh, resource tier. Sorry. So the resource tier, which is the 3 dots, the 1 to 3 dots underneath each resource on the deed. And then even breaks it down by like, is it in the north section, the east section, the south, or the west, which is cool. So, you know, some of these things may come into play, but just being able to analyze the data and then kind of decipher what you want to make of that can be really interesting. So, not all of this information and data is readily available for us when we're browsing this on OpenSea, right? And I think before we just go over to the tools, which I think is really where the juice, the coda juice is, I want to just touch on the hub while we're on data. When you go to the analytics tool and you go to the hub, it's broken down into like this dashboard where you can kind of see the top gainer traits. Like, what are some of the traits on the other deeds that had the largest gains in floor price, right?
Exactly, it's in the time period which you select on the right top. So if you change the time period, then you always have the top gainers of the last 7 days, 30 days, or 24 hours.
That's awesome. So you choose the time frame up here on the top right, 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, and then you'll be able to see the analytics reflect that.
Exactly. So every figure will adapt according to the time.
So let's take a look at 30 days. In the last month, just with Otherdeeds, we saw the owner count go down 1.6%. The floor count or the floor price go down 26% to 0.7. Volume has decreased significantly, and then sales, and then the number of other deeds listed as well. And then you kind of see that reflected in codas. So this last month for just NFTs in general has been pretty rough. But it's interesting, you know, you look at today, last 24 hours, you know, people may be converting their Pepe Pepe profits. But you see like there's more sales. Volume has decreased, but the floor's up a little bit over the last 24 hours. So it's kind of nice to see all of these analytics. What do you mean by highlights right here?
It shows the categories which you basically want to see
Okay.
after the first view without going into details, in my opinion.
So in
So
your
you want to
opinion,
see the artifact floor or the coda floor. So
awesome.
a quick overview of them. But if you want to dig deeper, then you go in the categories.
Like
and
resources, and then you
since
start to
for
break.
resources, it's also very interesting. If you search here, for example, cows, then it shows you all other deeds which are related to cows, all resources. Or if you enter acid on the top, I think that's very useful. So there were you, yeah, here exactly.
Right
Just
here.
enter cows.
How do I spell cows?
CHA.
Oh, okay. Okay.
and then you see only the chaos resources.
All right. So this is really cool.
Quite useful.
So you can even just type in the environment category right here,
Exactly.
and
Anything
it's
related.
and anything related to that environment, it'll show up with the resources related to that. Really, really cool. And then you can even separate it by tier 1 resources, tier 2, and tier 3. But I think all of these tiers, like I would imagine those could probably be changed over time due to how productive your deed might be. But that's speculation. Some people don't. Some people think, whatever tier you have, that's what you're going to get. But yeah, and then resources, artifacts. If you really want to get into artifacts, you can search by artifact or the category for the artifact. Environments, you're really stuck on acid, it'll take you over to, so if you click on it, it looks like it takes you to more informational stuff, but really, really interesting dashboard if you're just kind of looking at the analytics within the Otherdeed collection. And is this both Otherdeed expanded as well as Otherdeeds for Otherside, both the OG collection as well as the Otherdeed expanded collection? Frosties?
So it reflects both collections.
Awesome.
So it always takes the lowest listing. Doesn't matter which collection it is.
That's great. In 2 minutes, I just want to cover holders, charts, and sell walls. So holders just shows you the top holders of Otherdeeds, codas, resources, etc. So you can quickly see that. We have some whales over here in the top 10, and then you kind of see where you start to rank up amongst other collectors that own it. But what's interesting is, like, if you're able to go in here, to this Yuga Labs wallet that holds all of these Otherdeeds, I'm just going to copy this address and eventually go into the tool and go under wallet inventory. It's really cool to see, like, what do they have, and use the dashboards that Otherside-Wiki has to break it down. So yeah, holders, which also shows up as a module, as we've seen on the right hand side as we go through like different environments, etc. Charts. This is stuff I see Frosty's posting on Twitter and the Discord. You seem to like going through these charts and just getting some good analytics, seeing what you can make of some of the different sales that are happening. But yeah, just another visualizer for going through certain things. If you wanted to kind of see it in a chart format, you'd be able to check it out right here. Like, this is what the floor price is looking like for element 115. Now, what gets interesting as more information comes out about Otherside, that's when you might start to see movement in the charts for some of these like individual resources or locations or sediments, etc. So if we're looking at biogenic swamp, you can kind of see like where things were over time. So as you kind of zoom out, like as it launched in May, this thing was way up there. But where some of these biogenic swamps are currently. And so really nice visualization for that. They also have sell walls in here, listings for Otherdeeds and listed for codas. So you can get some of that information and just understand like where are the majority of these listings sitting at. Let's get into good stuff. Wallet inventory, sales browser, Otherside Map, and Otherside language. I'll start off with Otherside language just because it's quick. Really cool thing as we're all trying to decipher, like, what does it say on the relic, or in the second trip there was some Otherside language on the pyramid in the center, and we all had to figure out and decipher that as a community. And so having this Otherside alphabet here, which, you know, the community through the timelines has been contributing to deciphering each one of these letters. And then Otherside Wiki put together this really cool way to input text. So as I type in other space, you'll get that text showing up right here, which is great to be able to see. You'll see that on our banner that Farah had created some artwork for OtherSpace and has this language right here. But one of my favorite little tools that you've added on here, and I love using it to sleuth out some like good information, because we start to see this alphabet show up in different areas like trailers and things like that. So really cool tool. But yeah, let's go to wallet inventory. So the first thing you want to do here under wallet inventory is add wallets. So let me type in that Yuga Labs one and hit add wallet. All right. So what we are seeing right here is the top holder of Otherdeed collections is Yuga Labs. And they are, you know, in the distribution of Otherdeeds, they did say they're going to be holding 15% of Otherdeeds for partners and developers. So there's still a big question mark on what are they going to do with this? How are they going to distribute this? And then you start getting questions around how many codas do they have? And so right over here, 1,333 codas. 420 of them have weapons, and they have 14 megas out of that. And so really interesting things here. Now, they have 0 vessels. So what does that tell you? That tells you that they didn't decouple their other deeds yet. So they haven't claimed vessels. These are all still not decoupled. And so that would be really interesting as soon as they do something like that. So yeah, if anyone wants me to check out their wallet inventory while we're all here, feel free to paste their wallet address into the chat, and then we can maybe take a look at it if you would like. So feel free to paste your wallet address in the chat if you want to see what your wallet inventory looks like. Okay, Rich Poor, let's go, buddy. All right. So I'm going to add a wallet. Oh, I should take away the wallet, right? So I'll hit the little red X or hit reset. Add wallet. Pasta. All right. So, Jason, what's kind of your quick take on just looking at Rich Poor's wallet?
Mainly wow, he got a lot is my main takeaway. Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
You know, it really is kind of amazing how it breaks it down into sediments, environments, and you kind of get an idea of like where your collection is right off the bat. You know,
Yeah.
like he's got quite a range of sediments. He's got a lot of different environments, a lot of different environment tiers. I don't see any tier 5s right off the bat, if I'm reading this right.
Tier 5?
No, there's 4. I just don't see them because I'm looking on a small screen. And then when you go down to like the resources and all the other stuff, it's pretty amazing. Like how quickly at a glance you can see what you have, what you don't, what you may want to address to pick up, and
right.
you know what you may have like the market cornered if you have something pretty special.
Yep.
Wow, yeah, you can really see where your focus was, right? Like he went for weapons, he went for rather tools, right? He got most, like at least majority, more than half. It looks like that's a good amount to have 2 Kodaks as well. Wow, great collection, man.
Yeah.
It really is amazing how while a lot of people are out here selling, you know, a lot of people are seeing this as quite the opportunity. So it just depends on where you end on the spectrum, but this is very cool how it breaks it down like that.
Awesome, man. And I love to kind of see that. He said lots of void to harvest, so 2 axes might play. Yeah, really cool things. You can even see like the last buy, last sale, the estimated value of the other deeds, and then what I love is what you Otherside Wiki added worker slots. So just being able to see your worker slots at a glance, like 87 of them. So that comes down to how many vessels do you have, like and Kodas and Maras, and so just to be able to see some of those things. But zero Kodas, Rich boy, what's up with that? Is that a different wallet? Oh man. All right. He's top bid right now. All right. So no, I had to call that out. But everything else is looking stacked. That's funny. So yeah, and then even if you hover over it, you can kind of see the different tiers of those sediments. So really cool thing. There's a really cool thing you can do here too, which is generate a collage, and you'll be able to decide how many pictures per row. Do you want to show the info box or not? Let's say I just want to say no, and then decide if you want the IDs, and then set your background color. And then as you hit generate, and this might take a little bit longer just because you have several other deeds, but it will generate a really cool image of all of your other deeds in your collection right here that you'd be able to download and save. So that's like something that I think is just a cool artistic little touch. I think collectors would really appreciate. So you can customize your own collage there. So Frosty's, kudos for that. That's a really cool way to just incorporate some of the data that's available and, get people excited about their collection. This is something new, right? The show map. And so what it does is it opens up the map, and you can see the distribution of where your other deeds are on the actual map. This is by your wallet in this particular case. So really, really cool thing that you're able to do. You can see which ones have been expanded, which ones haven't. So there's at least a couple that haven't been expanded. Most of them have. And then even break down like, all right, let's see all the ones that are in chemical goo, and immediately be able to check that out right there. While we're on Otherside Map, I think there's some really, really cool things that, this is still fairly new. So this is one of the newer features that's a part of Otherside Wiki. And I think there's so much potential with this. And Frosties, I want to invite you to, discuss anything that you would like on this. But let me reset this wallet for a quick second. Actually, let me go.
Just loaded new.
Yeah, let me go to just tools, Otherside Map. One of the things that I was really curious about was I have Otherdeed 2338, which is somewhere right over here, which I can type in, my wallet address. Is there a way for me to type in 2338?
At location.
Thank you. 2338. All right, so there's my other deed, right? If I want to see if there are any chaos deeds near me, would I be able to keep this filter and then chaos as a neighbor?
Super.
Or I have to take off this, right?
You have to take off the
Okay.
ID then.
So let's take off the ID. But I can still at least see that, this is the closest chaos deed. It's actually right near me.
You currently have a filter which shows the neighbors of the chaos plots. That's why the dots are so big.
Wait. Repeat that again.
So that's actually the other deeds which are around chaos plots. So if you zoom in and you see the big point, and that's because many little points are marked.
Oh, wow. So all of these are chaos?
Only this in the middle.
Only this one in
It's
the middle.
this filter is actually more better for the sales for the Otherdeeds browser, because then you can see
Yeah.
available Otherdeeds around chaos lands.
Awesome. But I think that those types of things, oh my God, sorry. Looks like it got caught up.
It's a bit buggy still.
It's still a little buggy, but
But you
it's
have to scroll up, I think. Yeah.
yeah, if I
And
scroll
if
up,
you want
just
to reset some view, you just double click on move, rotate,
double
something,
click,
and then it
boom.
goes to the standard view.
Awesome. So if you double click on those, that just helps it get back to its place. That's great. So yeah, you be able to view it differently. You can rotate it a little bit differently, and then just move it around. But you know, that's one of the things that I really liked and enjoyed is that, you know, I wanted to know where are the closest chaos deeds according to my location. And hey, you might want to know where's the closest element 115 resource that's closest to your location, right? So you'll be able to do things like that. So you can go in here, type in element 115, and immediately see, based on location, where those resources might be. And so this could be really helpful when it comes to strategizing, for Legends of the Mara, assuming that there might be ways we can engage with other deeds that aren't yours. If you're assigning a hunter or a farmer or a coda to something, and you're looking for a particular resource or sediment fragment, this is all really helpful to kind of see this Otherside map built in. So yeah, kudos for including this. I think it's one of the dopest features, and as Bad Teeth says, you just stay delivering, man. Kudos to you and your team. Anyone have any questions based off of this Otherside map or a particular scenario you want me to use? Because if not, I want to spend the last part on browsing for sales.
I mean, off the top of my head, I think let's just jump into browsing for sales, because that's an important part of this that I use it
Yeah.
the most for that, to be honest.
Me too. And I think that's where, like, when you click
Browsing
on
for Otherdeeds, so you mean not for sales?
thank you. Browsing for other deeds. So this is a really great view that you'll be able to have once you're in the deed browser. Again, the quick shortcut is just to click on deed up here on the top right, or coda for a coda browser. But these are some of the main tools that you're going to want to use. And as you're looking for particular deeds, just at a glance, you get some really good information as you're scrolling through many of this. Let me go to like page 5, just as an example. So immediately I can see like this has a resource, a NEMA resource. It's a cosmic a cosmic dream sediment tier 2, a tier 2 sediment. Tier 2 sediment, and then tier 2 environment, which is molten. And yeah, you'll be able to quickly notice like the different colors, how many resources there are just from a quick visual standpoint, one resource, 3 resources over here. And then it's taking listings from both Blur and OpenSea, and it's taking whatever the lowest one listing is. Is that correct?
It also includes Lux Rare and X2 Yacht 2.
Awesome. X2, Y2.
Also interesting information. So for people who are not that well known, when you see green or blue, it mostly says the resource is not that rare. So if you see something yellow or
pink,
violet, then
yep,
it's some more rare.
Yeah.
To expectation to
Yeah.
I don't know the word now. So void and so the chaos resources are green and blue. Also, that's the only expectation for this.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah. And that's what's nice is just to be able to see all of this at a glance. And the sediment tiers, so infinite expanse, sediment tier 3, and all of that. So if I was really looking for, let's say, sky. Wait, let me clear everything and go to environment, sky. Actually, you know what? What are some of the things, like in the chat? What are some of the things that you all look for as you are strategizing, if you care to share? Because I know some people want to secure their deed before they give up, the
I
alpha and
could
what they're looking for.
show 3 scenarios which I really like
Let's
when
go
I'm
for it.
browsing for deeds.
Yep.
So first, I like when I go to resource
Resources. Okay.
and I put minimum resource rarity 60.
Minimum resource rarity 60.
Yeah, and then enter. And then you see all the resources which are more rare, let's say it like this, in one
Awesome.
view. So then, the cheapest, more rare resource is 119.
Yeah.
So that's
That
basically,
was
that means it's a good deal.
that was the
So,
one that we were seeing a little bit earlier.
yeah, exactly.
That's
This
awesome.
is a view which I like very much. Another view is like when you delete now the minimum resource rarity again,
Uh-huh.
if you go to price, you need to delete this.
Oh,
Exactly. Now you go to price on the top,
on top.
left top.
Oh, price here.
Price here. And then you go to max and put in 2 and enter.
And I should put the minimum resource rarity, right?
No, just make 2.
Okay.
And put enter. And then you change the sorting. So from greatest score high.
Grail score high.
Yeah.
Under
This,
2 ETH.
Also like because it shows
Wow.
the more rare Otherdeeds which have some combinations, but not considering artifacts. That's the only thing which is not considered here. But if you search for resources or higher environments, I like this functionality a lot to look around.
Very cool. Very cool. I can't wait to explore this filter right here. Hell yeah, I love that. And then Grail score is something you kind of came up with on your own?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a rarity for Otherdeeds, and then I thought, let's consider already that everything is decoupled, and that's the rarity which I consider here.
Awesome.
So I think it's also because we are running out of time. If you go to a deed view, there's also some interesting information which people should know. So if you go
so click on one of these. Oh, maybe expanded.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because we have here 3 values.
Yeah.
The fair value, the floor, and the gray score, which basically helps you to determine if the deal is good or not. So if you click now on fair value, for example, then you also see a breakdown why it have this value, which we calculate here.
Awesome.
Basically calculates for every trade the floor, and then we calculate it together.
That's fantastic. And, just being able to see the rank for the resources right here as well. You can see Chroma 45 out of 74. So that's under the 60, which was like a great number to kind of have as a minimum rank. And then the item activity. So lots of really, really cool things, as well as some links, over to quickly see it on Otherside.xyz on their map. Hood 3, OpenSea, looks rare, and X2Y2. But yeah, I think that's fantastic. In fact, do you got a second to maybe give us another good filter that you find really interesting?
I want to buy one more Otherdeed, and I looked for Biogenic Swamp, and I compared the collections. So if you click now Biogenic Swamp and then go to the collections,
And then go to the collection up here on the top left.
if you click now Otherdeed, you can see that the difference is very low. So the vessel value is actually higher than the difference. So
Yeah.
it's basically better to buy the old collection, burn
And,
it,
and then
and
burn
you
it.
get a vessel for nearly for free.
Yep.
If you're lucky, you even get 0.5.
As long as gas isn't
gain.
like 200
Yeah.
Gwei.
That's the problem right now.
Yeah.
But I have seen there's some opportunities to make some good deals for yourself.
That's awesome, man. That's super awesome. And just because we're running out of time, we can always do a follow up and continue to do this. But codas, this is something I use to really help find my coda, and then just so happened to be, when I clicked on it, I was just like, oh my goodness, I know this person. So that was really cool. But codas, you can do a lot of the same things, bad teeth in the 288. We talk a lot about thematic rarity. And so we end up going through like some of the different traits, and we don't know yet. There's still a lot of mysteries on like how do the traits like have utility or whatnot. And you get to really understand like how many heads of Trivent are there? What about the cores? What about
You can also
eyes?
click on the core on the eyes, and you have pre-selected in the browser every coder with the same core.
And these are only the ones that are listed, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're not seeing all of them. You're seeing the ones that are for sale.
Exactly. But you can change it in status. And then
Oh,
you click show all.
status, show all. Nice.
Then you see all.
Thank you for that. Oh man, I love it. I love it. I was wondering. So this is what's so cool, just being able to walk through this with you and be able to share our own experiences, get some input from the chat. This is all really, really awesome stuff. I'm just looking at this weapon, admiring it. So only one for sale. So status show all, and then I can see all the different codas with that weapon very easily and which ones have been decoupled, etc. Man, thank you for this. Thank you. I know there's one last thing when it comes to price alerts. Do you want to talk about how someone might be able to use this?
I'm not sure if we still have time, because I think you have another appointment at 11, or
We do. Yeah. Just how about this? First of all, thank you everyone for coming through to our first workshop that we're holding in OtherSpace FM. This is the first of many. Wanted to do it with one of the ultimate tools, Otherside Wiki. I want to take a moment to thank Frosties. If you can, show Frosties and his team some love in the chat, he deserves all the flowers. This tool has been so beneficial for us as community members and the greater Otherside community. We'll have this workshop recorded and posted very soon so that all our communities could really benefit from everything that we went through today. We went over an overview of what Otherside Wiki can do, how you can discover the other side as it relates to sediments, environments, resources, and artifacts. We went down and broke down the analytics hub, as well as understanding, the different dashboards and how you can customize that. And then the tools to browse for Otherdeeds and how you might be able to use those filters on the side to really adjust that. So thank you for taking us through that. And we can't wait to continue to find ways on how we can collaborate. And, just the tool itself has been so valuable for all of us. So thanks again.
So thank you for giving me the opportunity to present it.
Oh yeah. Frosties, if you don't mind, could you share the link to your Discord, the invite link to your Discord in this chat, so that anyone who wants to give feedback. Often Frosty's is in there looking for ideas on what we would like to see in here. And the Discord is going to be the best place to stay up to date with Otherside Wiki as well as feedback. You can follow Otherside Wiki on Twitter. There's an official links area. So yeah, the Discord link is in the chat right now. Please join that. And Jason, is there anything else?
No, man, that was very informative. I mean, this is a great tool, constantly adding use cases. So that was really fun, man. Thank you for hosting it.
Hell yeah, we'll do it again. Where we're going now, if you'd like to join us, the 288 gang, Bad Teeth, myself, and anyone else who would like to join, we're going to host a Twitter space. We're going to be talking about the 288 gang, but also the ApeCoin Metaverse working group. And so I encourage anyone who's interested to tap in. We'll go ahead and post the link in the general chat on this Discord. But yeah, feel free to come by, listen in, say hello. But we're going to be heading over to the Twitter space right now. But thanks so much, everyone, for tapping in, and hope you got something out of this workshop.